So during the sessions that I was chairing in the plenary, I was much stricter with time limits than my colleagues were, so I give everyone the right to cut me off when I hit 10 minutes. President of the conference, Vice Presidents, Director General, Excellencies, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to address the closing session on behalf of the Employers Group and to serve as the Employers Vice President at this 114th session of the International Labor Conference. Over the past 2 weeks, we have once again demonstrated the enduring value of tripartism. In a world marked by economic uncertainty, geopolitical tension, and rapid technological changes, this conference has shown that governments, employers, and workers can still engage constructively, find common ground, and shape practical responses to the challenges facing the world of work. This conference met at an important moment for the ILO. Enterprises everywhere are operating under pressure, adapting to new technology, demographic shifts, and complex regulation, while continuing to invest, innovate, and create jobs. And the ILO itself will soon undertake significant reform. For employers, an endurable ILO is one that stays anchored in its tripartite mandate, focused where it adds real value, listens to its constituents, and delivers practical results. That will demand clear priorities and disciplined use of resources. Built on the strengths that distinguish the ILO, its normative mandate, its technical expertise, and above all, its unique tripartite structure. With that in mind, let me turn to what this conference achieved. First, on social dialogue and tripartism. The conclusions we adopted strengthen the very institutions and mechanisms that make labor markets work. The Employers Group welcomes the recognition that social dialogue takes many forms and must reflect national circumstances and industrial relations traditions. Collective bargaining is an important part of this framework, but effective social dialogue also depends on consultation, tripartite engagement, and workplace cooperation. We especially welcome the emphasis on coherence, effectiveness, and prioritization, especially at this time in reform when resources must be used wisely. Social dialogue contributes not only to decent work and resilience, but also to productivity, competitiveness, and inclusive growth. Second, on gender equality. Their transformative agenda before us addressed one of the defining challenges of our time. We welcome the recognition that gender equality is an economic imperative. No economy can afford to leave half of its talent pool untapped. Expanding opportunities for women in employment, entrepreneurship, and leadership makes enterprises stronger and economies more resilient. The conclusions rightly call for integrated approaches that span skills, access to finance, care responsibilities, social protection, and participation in emerging sectors, supported by social dialogue and evidence-based policy. The future of work needs the full participation of women, and the Employers Group is committed to that goal. Third, in the discussion of the Director General's report, our attention turned to artificial intelligence and technological changes. Here, employers urged parties to see innovation not only through the lens of risk, but through the lens of opportunity. Across many sectors, AI is already improving productivity and creating new opportunities, supporting the early detection of disease in healthcare, expanding access to finance for small businesses, and helping small enterprises build new skills through partnerships with technology providers. The question before us isn't whether technological change is coming, it's how we equip workers, enterprises, and institutions to adapt. Skills development and lifelong learning are central to the answer. Fourth, and perhaps most importantly for many employers, this conference adopted the Convention on Decent Work in the Platform Economy, which shows the ILO's relevance and critical role in this new era. The Employers Group highlights 3 elements of this convention. First, the recognition that the platform economy is diverse, with various classification types and no presumption of employment. Platform work spans employees, the self-employed, and other categories recognized under national systems. And respecting that diversity is what will keep this convention workable across very different legal and economic contexts. Second, the recognition that innovation and opportunity must remain part of the equation. For millions of people, platforms have created access that did not exist before, connecting workers and entrepreneurs to customers and new markets, and drawing in women, young people, and others often left outside traditional labor markets. Third, the recognition that members should take appropriate measures to protect commercially sensitive information. Trust and investment depend on safeguarding workers and legitimate business interests alike in a fast-moving digital economy. We congratulate the committee on this achievement. This conference also marked 100 years of the Committee on the Application of Standards. For employers, this anniversary is a chance to reaffirm the importance of a supervisory system that is objective, balanced, credible, and grounded in evidence. This year, the committee examined 23 individual cases, together with special sittings on Belarus and Myanmar. Its tripartite nature, bringing governments, employers, and workers together, is what allows it to combine legal scrutiny with practical experience and drive real progress. Preserving confidence in that system remains a shared responsibility. President, across every discussion, one message has emerged consistently. The challenges before us grow more complex, yet sustainable solutions still rest on the same foundations. Without sustainable enterprises, there can be no sustainable employment. Without productivity growth, there can be no lasting rise in living standards. Without new skills training, there can be no successful adaptation to technological change. And without trust, there can be no effective social dialogue. These realities are interconnected, and they must continue to guide our work. President, allow me to close with a sincere appreciation of the Employers Group. We thank you for your leadership, and we thank the Director General, the officers of the conference, Mr. Martinez and Ambassador Sobhan, the chairs and vice chairs of the committees, the office, the interpreters, and all of the staff whose professionalism made these proceedings possible. We also thank our colleagues in the governments and workers' groups. Consensus is never easy, and differences of opinion are inevitable. But this conference has shown that once again, dialogue is not only possible, but critical to a more prosperous world, and that progress can only be achieved when all parties engage in good faith. In the end, our success will not be measured by the texts we adopted over these 2 weeks. It will be measured by what we do with them, by whether we turn these outcomes into stronger institutions, more resilient enterprises, better opportunities for workers, and more prosperous societies. The Employers Group remains fully committed to that task. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias, señora Kaufman.